Okay, well, it's 2 o'clock. I want to welcome everyone to the Quality Enhancement Plan Interdisciplinary Conference. My name is Traci McKinley, and I am the QEP Director. I want to thank you for attending our conference, and I hope after our presentation, you will be as excited about our QEP as we are. First, I would like to introduce our QEP members participating on our panel today. Diann Ainsworth, Humanities faculty, and last year's recipient of the Faculty Member of the Year Award. Ryan Dickerson, Student Life Coordinator. Shantee Siebuhr, Guided Pathways Specialist and Phi Theta Kappa Advisor. And our fourth panelist is Katie Edwards, the Executive Director of Creative Services. Our panel's aim in this presentation is to inform you about Weatherford College's QEP and the significance of the QEP in the SACS reaffirmation process. The QEP is derived from our institution's planning and evaluation processes. It affirms our college's commitment to enhance overall quality by focusing on an issue that we consider to be important to improving our student learning outcomes and or student successes. Weatherford College identified improving student success as our important issue. And through institutional research, the narrowed topic was selected: resources, opening opportunities to students, roots. The Research and Writing Task Force has continued this narrowing of focus through literature reviews. This task is necessary in order to submit our QEP document for SACS in September. Following that submission in September, October, our QEP team will make a formal presentation to the On-Site Reaffirmation Committee. After the SACS on-site visit, the QEP will be implemented over a 5-year period. The project will employ a universal classroom that will link to all of our WC resources we provide for our students. The all-in-one resource will eliminate challenges associated with our current use of multiple platforms. The pathways to achieving these goals involve both curricular and co-curricular modifications. 1, a Canvas classroom to house student services, resources, and activities. 2, an improved transcript review process. 3, pre-advising sessions. And lastly, using inventories to assess personal awareness of interest and abilities to better associate students with their needs. When students use the Roots classroom, their interactions will also contribute to personal portfolios built upon 3 student success pathways. The onboarding pathway, students will identify marketable skills through early exposure to activities and then continuously work toward mastery of these skills by earning institutional core learning outcome certificates. The second pathway is the resources pathway. Students will demonstrate engagement with campus resources by earning the resources pathway certificate. And last, the career readiness pathway, where our students will complete career readiness activities to earn the career readiness pathway certificate. The QEP team is currently planning for the new onboarding process and the Canvas Roots to Rise classroom for first-time college students starting in fall 2022. Now Diann Ainsworth will give an overview of the literature review done by the Research and Writing Task Force.
Thanks. Hi, I am representing the Research and Writing Task Force, and we are in the process of researching current practices in onboarding, interventions, retention, assessment, and career services, and writing the literature review to support the WC QEP goals. I encourage everybody to check out Bailey, Jaggers, and Jenkins' book, Redesigning America's Community Colleges, A Clearer Path to Student Success. And that source, that citation, among other sources, are on our short reference list at the end of this presentation. I also suggest looking at websites for colleges with model student services QEPs, like Polk State College, Indian River State College, St. Petersburg College, and Alvin Community College. Those are also listed on the reference list at the end of this presentation. These schools are presenting clear program maps within their guided pathway meta majors to help students make connections among disciplines, career choices, and personal interests, which is all bringing together all of what Traci was just telling you about our goals. And then the research also supports active advising models, pre-advising, flipped advising, intake model of advising. There's lots of terms to work through, but all of these things will help our students explore and choose a guided pathway all the way to graduation. Early, they need to choose it. The research says choose earlier in the college process and then receive support within that chosen pathway from faculty and peer mentors, career coaches, and all of these things will be offered through events, projects, and experiences to explore and even change a pathway if needed. One of the things I noticed in our keynote speakers talk today is that she said how important networking is. And I think that's going to be a big part of this process. And the Roots Canvas Classroom, the hub, is going to be a great place to network. Our third target is the research supports many ways to help students take ownership of their strengths and gaps in curricular and co-curricular activities. And one method to help students do that is to start and develop an e-portfolio in Canvas. It's already available, it's free to our students, but to help them begin this, get it set up at the beginning of their WC journey, and then add projects and reflections with advisor and faculty help throughout the college journey to become more integrative learners and to help them see clearer paths to graduation with measurable success, and to have that digital record, which is also called a comprehensive learner record, or CLR, that they can share with transfer schools and possible employers. And these are just a few of the things we've been researching, and there's a lot of great models and methods out there to explore, but I'm excited to see our QEP develop and grow to help our students reach their goals.
Excellent, thank you. So I will discuss some of the onboarding processes and the Roots classroom. Navigating college is not a simple task, especially for someone who has never attended college before. There are a lot of variables, and they're going to differ from student to student, major to major. And so the Canvas classroom, the Roots classroom, intends to make navigating these processes easier and more efficient. And the classroom is divided into 3 pathways previously mentioned. We have the onboarding pathway, resources or student resources pathway, and the career readiness pathway. And what's listed underneath these are some examples of what we hope to cover. This is not an exhaustive list, so there will be more, but this kind of gives you an idea of what tasks, what training modules will exist within the Canvas classroom. And using onboarding as an example, core is going to be our new student orientation that we'll be implementing for the first time this summer. And it really complements the QEP initiative in many ways. And I would like to invite Shantee, since she's been here a little bit longer than me, what do you see as the biggest differences of our new orientation compared to orientations of the past?
Thank you. Orientation for our new students has changed quite a bit over the last decade. When I attended school here, it was an online course that I registered for and went about the entire semester. There wasn't an in-person component, but I still got the necessary information that I needed. Up until a couple years ago, our orientation was a 2-hour seminar where students came and got a brief overview of what they were to expect, and then had the opportunity to meet with an advisor to register. So as we look at how to serve our students better, as we look at where we might have missed the mark with new classes coming in, we noticed that our students were craving more interaction, more engagement. They were asking for, I would like to know everything I could possibly know that could make me successful, because college can be intimidating. And especially for a first time in college, maybe even a first generation college student, it can be intimidating to even set foot on campus. So providing that first experience, this core coyote orientation and registration experience, by providing that, we are providing a solid foundation for our incoming freshmen, whether they are just out of high school or transferring in from another college or university. Maybe it's been a while since they've attended and they're just trying to get back up on their feet. What students can expect from an experience like that is a full day of really getting to know the institution, not just our mission of what we hope to do here at Weatherford College, but they're going to get to interact with students. They're going to get to interact with faculty. They're going to get to know all different areas of the college, from the library and writing center to eating in the cafeteria to navigating to where classrooms are. And then of course, they still get that registration experience where they can meet with a couple advisors, make appointments so that they can have an in-depth advising session. Like Diann mentioned, we are looking at our advising practices and how we can better serve students with our advising. And so they're going to get this in one day, but our goal is that when they leave it, they're not going to feel overwhelmed, like, oh, I just had to digest a whole week's worth of knowledge in 8 hours, but they're going to feel energized, and they're going to feel ready to come back and really engage with the campus as a whole.
And, orientation is not going to be everything a student needs or is going to remember. And so think of the Canvas classroom as an extension of what was covered in orientation plus a whole lot more. So the student can always go back to it, reference it. And, they said something in orientation, about some sort of resource. I don't remember what it was. I don't know how to find it. But this Canvas classroom will house it all. And so it's something that not only will they interact with, complete training modules, receive certificates, but it will just help them keep everything in one space. And so moving on, with pre-advising, the student would explore program options before the formal course registration process. They might evaluate personality assessments, career assessments, to kind of get an idea of what will be a good fit long-term, and if not long-term, in the short term, for the upcoming semester. Smarter Measure is an assessment we are exploring, and it is a non-cognitive assessment that we would implement in the very beginning of their onboarding process. And it's a web-based assessment which measures a learner's readiness for succeeding in an online or technology-rich learning program. SMART measure indicates the degree which an individual student possesses attributes, skills, knowledge that contribute to success in learning, and they're related to 7 key areas. Individual attributes such as motivation, procrastination, willingness to ask for help, life factors, learning styles, technical competency, using a computer, accessing the internet, accessing Canvas, on-screen reading rate and recall, and typing speed and accuracy. And the cool thing about Smarter Measure is the student's going to receive feedback immediately. They just don't take the assessment, it goes to the advisor interprets it to the student immediately gets some feedback to identify some areas that they may need resources to overcome, or at least to be successful. And so Smarter Measure is a resource we're exploring, in addition to some career assessments, which I'll touch on here in a little bit. I would like to use degree, I'm calling it degree training, degree planning. Degrees are structured in so many different ways. If you want to pursue an occupation in a field that may not really need a degree, but you need a certificate or a license of some sort, how do I obtain that? How do I determine, what I need? And so I think starting with a tutorial or a module where it kind of breaks down what a degree is, this may be an example of something we would have in the classroom. And so thinking of degree planning, there is a lot to it. Not only just, what occupation does it relate to, or the certificates and licenses, but credit hours. What is a credit hour? General education requirements. What does it mean to be core complete? What's a major? What's a minor? What is lower and upper level coursework? And the most important one, I think, is the transferability of credits. Our Guided Pathways initiative focuses on ensuring that a student, isn't wasting any time, any money, and they're staying on track, and they can see that end goal. They know that where they're starting is going to help them, and they're going to be guided toward, that end result, that occupation, or transferring to a university. So this is one example of a task or module that we would have in the Canvas classroom. Personality assessments, maybe another one. Now that's going to be, we haven't decided on the exact one we're going to implement, but personality is more than just, cognitive functioning or, emotional processing. We look at environmental factors, environmental preferences, our cultures, our values, and our personal history. Those experiences mold and shape us, and students don't always realize that. It's not something you consciously think of on a day-to-day basis. However, you have attitudes, you have beliefs, you have opinions, and these assessments can help provide some insight into what a student would either be a best fit for, or just that personal awareness to help them in their studies, accomplishing goals, so on and so forth. So with the one that we are leaning toward is based on a RIASEC model, and the strong assessment is the official assessment, and then we have some free versions that we've used in learning frameworks, and one with O.NET, which we'll talk about as well. So after kind of knowing your degree structure, learning, what interests you, what you're leaning toward, students can use resources like O.NET to explore tens of thousands of occupations. How much money will I be making? How much education do I need? And so these things will be a part of the campus classroom to help students make decisions and plan their future. All right, and then that leads us to the third pathway, career readiness. and toward the, well, how should I say this? The pathways are not necessarily sequential. You know, you may be doing some onboarding tasks halfway through, you know, your college career, at least with Weatherford College, and you may be job shadowing your second semester. If you're visiting career services, you have an interest in a certain occupation. So these are not necessarily linear, kind of mix and match the task, and you don't have to do them in a particular order. But let's say you're toward the end of your degree and you are thinking, should I go to a university? Can I enter the workforce? One of an important aspect to this is a platform, a career platform, for the students to create a profile, to be able to upload their resume, to create a resume. This will be housed as well within the Canvas classroom. All right. And I think that comes to Shantee, and she's going to talk to us about the look and what the Canvas classroom will be.
I jokingly told Ryan that I like to use the term meat and potatoes of the presentation. This is your exclusive first look. No one outside of the QEP has seen what the classroom could look at. So soak it in, everybody. You get the exclusive first peek. I want to touch on what Traci, Diann, and Ryan have all mentioned, in the fact that Weatherford College cares about students holistically. Not just let's get them into classrooms, let's give them grades, and let's get them going. We understand that our students are just like us, navigating life, trying to adult, trying to look like we know what we're doing, and things come up and things get hard. And so if we can approach the student holistically and not just look at, well, your TSI scores are this, or your GPA is this, and really focus on what we can provide the student to help them get to where they want to be. Whether that is, I just need a certificate and get out to the workplace as soon as possible, or I'm not quite sure what I want to do and I need to explore some of it, or maybe I want to major in 900 things and I really should narrow it down to at least 875 before I get started. And that's where we come into play. So this classroom is what we are currently building. This is a prototype that allows us to put all of these tasks that will help benefit our students into this classroom and offer them the opportunity to earn certificates or badges in certain areas that will help them more marketable and improve their soft skills, that they can put on their resume, that they can use with an employer, that they can use for a scholarship. Just a way to get a leg up while also guiding their path through Weatherford College. So while you might step on campus and not know exactly what to do to go to college, we put you in this classroom and it's a step-by-step with the resources that you need. And it follows with you your entire time here at Weatherford College, so that you don't feel like you're lost or like you don't know what's next or who to reach out to if you need to. All of these badges and certificates, we are looking to, like Diann mentioned with the e-portfolio, and this is Portfolium. And I really liked this, this video that kind of tells you what Portfolium is and how it can benefit students. And so Ryan, if you wanna hit play. Is there sound on everybody else's screen?
Let me unmute, maybe that'll help.
Not yet. Ryan, is there a different speaker that it could come through?
I don't know.
That's okay. Oh man, you know when you're preparing for a presentation and you think, what's the worst thing that could happen? Well, this isn't it, but
Can you provide the link in the chat, and then maybe they can?
I sure can.
I was going to try to pull it, but it's not.
That's okay.
It brings me here. Well, the video about Portfolium gives you some insight into what it is, but ultimately, you know, the student will leave Weatherford College with a portfolio that, you know, that kind of tracks their accomplishments, the products that they've created, things that kind of prove their experience, and, you know, make them relevant and competent for the occupation that they're going to be applying for. All right, and there we go. All right, so anything else about the campus classroom or portfolio before we move on to the lovely Katie Edwards?
I had the meat and potatoes and Katie gets the sparkle.
All right, Katie, take it away. You need to unmute, Katie.
Unmute. The QEP Communication Task Force, our objective is to raise awareness for the QEP through media, print, and presentation. So our first task, once we decided on ROOTS as the acronym we were going with resources, open opportunities to students, was to come up with the logo. And obviously you need to highlight ROOTS. And the tree, and our whole thought is that the tree's roots provide a stable foundation and seeks out and gives the tree nutrients it needs to grow. And it just seems to kind of work really well with what we're hoping will be the students' path and their use of resources through the institution. To continue and spread awareness of the QEP and the logo, we've got some promo items that we'll be giving away at various events. We've got some pins, we've got some sticky tab notepads. This here on the left of the screen is a seed stake. We just thought that was kind of a neat and cute and memorable take on the QEP's roots kind of symbology there. In the future, we'll also be getting like some journals and water bottles. It's a 5-year process, so we'll kind of inject some fun stuff in there along the way. Some of the other stuff that we'll have is signage around campus. We'll create graphics that'll go up on the campus TVs. We've got retractable banners, which we'll have at different events and on different campuses. We'll have some decals that'll go either on the windows or the whiteboards of classrooms as we get further along in the QEP, just to remind students to go back to that QEP Canvas classroom throughout their time here. We don't want them to forget that component. And then we're going to have a little vinyl affirmation tree on the wall at the different campuses, where it will have kind of the vinyl outline of a tree, and then we'll have these sticky note leaves on there that's similar to what Shantee has up outside the Welcome Center, where people can put acts of kindness. This will be different resources that people have found helpful, whether that be a program, a book, a person, just anything to kind of help spread the word about different resources that people may not have thought of even, and kind of get the students a little bit more engaged. Each fall semester, we will have an event on campus, and we'll kick it off with the on-site visit with SACS in October. And we'll kind of have a little party with cupcakes and a gathering. What we will have is we're also going to have a component to this that'll be a contest similar to the 150th numbers that people brought out to the birthday parties for the 150th events. And so that will be, our hope is we'll get some live oak seedlings that we can, or saplings that we'll have in planters that departments can pick up at the in-service in fall of 2021. And the departments can take their time and they can decorate the planters, and then they'll bring them all out to this event, and they'll have a kind of a decorative contest. Also, as part of the decoration, we'll have little QR codes that students could click on and scan. With each scan, they get to enter once, and but there'll be different ones about different departments around campus. And so the more of those they visit, the more opportunities they have to win. And then we'll do a drawing, and they can win either a laptop or an iPad of their choice. As we continue to go on, since this is a 5-year event, each fall semester we'll continue this event. We'll continue to bring the trees out, the little saplings, and then we'll add the component of whose tree is still alive, and they can get a prize as well, and how healthy it is. And we'll also continue the student contest each fall semester, where they can still also get a prize for visiting those different departments and the resources available at those departments. And then at the end of the 5 years, we're really hoping that we can send these trees out to some of our feeder schools and kind of continue the symbology of, you know, growing from the ground up, and also continue to decorate our campuses with the new trees, as many of them have died in the past years. And let's see, I think that's it.
I think that's it on the communication side. And that brings us to toward the end, where we have it open for questions. And I can't access the chat, so I don't know if any questions have been asked.
There have not been any questions asked yet.
Okay, excellent. I guess we did a thorough job. We'll move on to the thank you slide.
Miss Susie Jerry asked about the timeline and whether it begins in 2022.
We will begin the planning before 2022, but the first cohort will go through fall 2022.
Oh, there's the chat.
The pilot group will start, the 5% of our student population will start in fall of 2022. Susie, I think that was your question.
I have a question. Keeping this tree alive does not have any effect on my job here at the college, correct?
I don't know.
Correct, because
I feel like they have to give that to Diann for literature review.
I have a lot of talents, but botany is not one of them.
I'm right there with you. I don't believe that I will have one in this office.
Well, I will come and take all of y'all's trees then.
Plants love Ryan, so that would be good. I would put my job in your hands.
Ryan, if you'll scroll to the next screen, they could see some of the resources that we've been
Yes.
using.
Will we be sharing these presentations, or will they just be on video to watch later?
It is recorded to the cloud. I am not sure what they're doing with the interdisciplinary conference from this point forward. If it's going to be on our website, Katie, do you know? or do they just archive it?
Chelsea's been doing most of this, so I don't know.
Typically, they do have the links out to the recordings up on the website. I will say that the, Ryan, if you'll scroll back one reference, thank you. The book mentioned at the top, The Redesigning America's Community Colleges, A Clear Path to Student Success. We do have multiple copies in the library. It was encouraged as we researched the Guided Pathways framework. It was encouraged for our faculty and staff to read. So we do have multiple copies in the library. And if someone scoops them all up, I also have a copy in my office that I can check out to people as necessary in upstairs student services. So just let me know.
Susie asked if you could share the PowerPoint, Ryan, with her.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I can do that.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Jerry here. Okay. Gosh, earlier I didn't realize I wasn't on mute. I just wanted to say that 2 years ago at the interdisciplinary conference, I did the RIASEC, fields of interest in action. I gave the students a handout and they get up and they go and make choices and talk to each other. I did that in action. So it certainly is, we're able to open up and be together. There's a way to put that in action where the students can congregate together and see each other and talk and explain, what made them drawn to that area. So, I'll talk with you more about that because I have a long background in career counseling. So I was excited to see some of your assessments.
Well, and I think with the Guided Pathway communities, I think that will provide an opportunity for like-minded students who are on that field of study, may not know what they want to do, but they know that they want to work in that field, helping field, or STEM, arts. And so I do think as we progress and roll this out, it's really going to complement the Guided Pathways initiative, and I think provide opportunities for those students to collaborate.
Something fun for Guided Pathways that I found out this week is that we got the okay from VP Indy to sort the programs by Guided Pathways in our communities on the new website, as opposed to departments that students may or may not know. And so that's
cool.
really exciting.
That's great.
Something else that happened yesterday for our institutional core learning outcomes that are our marketable skills we identify in the QEP, it was approved by the CASC that they go on the master syllabus. So each required ICLO, the institutional core learning outcome, will now be on the master syllabus. So lots of exciting things moving forward at Weatherford College.
When does that start, Traci, putting the outcomes or skills of knowledge, skills, and abilities with the master syllabus?
They're rolling it out right now, and we're defining the process on how to get, it's going to be a very huge undertaking to have those identified with discipline. So we're just starting that process now, and hopefully for the fall semester, we will have that done. We will see.
So each faculty person will need to do that, link that with their syllabus.
No, it will be the master syllabus. So the faculty member would not have to make any adjustments to their course outline. This would just be done by the deans down to the department chairs or program directors, and live on our website or the MyWC and be the master syllabus, not the specific instructor and their course outline. You would still have complete ownership of what you do for your outline. Well, it is 2:40 and we are just a few minutes shy of our end time. If there aren't any questions, then I guess that we will just thank everyone for coming and we'll start our weekend early. Are there any other questions? The chat is cleared, so I guess we will say farewell and everyone have a nice weekend.